the last episode, we spent way too long adding some extra details to Bellevue, and then we finally got around to establishing the farming town of Fontbrock. In today's episode, we're getting to work on my biggest park project so far as we add a ton of details to the bank of the Fontbrock Lake. Not only does this park have way more trees than anywhere else and anything else I've built so far, it also comes, of course, with its own little market. And a red, green, and white color scheme that I hope will look amazing when the Christmas update comes out on December 9th. And then outside of the park, we're looking to add a bunch of houses to slowly, and I do mean slowly, chip away at the population problem in Fontbrock. And we'll probably do a few more things on top of that as well. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Town to City. So I think this is a pretty good start for Fontbrock. I'm really pleased with what we've got here, and based on some of the comments that I've seen, which, by the way, thank you for all of them. I posted on social media recently, and I posted on the channel's community page, or whatever it's called these days, about how I've just been a little bit down, but I just want to say that the comments on the last video were just a really much needed mood lifter for me, so thank you very much for that. I don't want to dwell on it because it sounds sappy, but yes, thank you very much for all of those. It was amazing to read through all of them. Now, when it comes to Fontbrock, we do need more people in here. The butcher currently doesn't have enough workers, which is not exactly ideal. I do want to deal with that, but first, I have a couple of little things that I want to work on. And, well, I say little things. It's not really all that little because it's the entire waterfront that we have here between these houses and the pet shop. Basically, I figure we want research, and I figure this is an amazing spot for a research center. I love the idea that it will be right out here and that we're going to have this beautiful big park that will probably have a market in it that brings you from potentially all the way down here, all the way to the research center, just through nature and through the market and all of those good things. And I suppose that's kind of where I want to get started today. So we're going to start with some roads. And the way I want to do this is by enabling the draw over existing paths option, because what I can do is line this up with the base of those two streetlights and then slowly bring this back to right about there. And that gives us our midpoint for the entrance to this park. Now, I was thinking at one point that this would have a little bit of a wider entrance because we've done this little small entrance thing before. And then I realized there was something kind of interesting I could do with decorations. So if I place this hedge right here and I find the wooden arches and put them right here, what if we were to put those together? What if we were to create this little archway that leads from this path into the park? I think that could be kind of fun. So what we're going to do is, well, do I want different colors for this guy? We could do, what have we got? We got a lot of purple over there. Do I want to bring more purple into this space? I'm not against it. I do like these. They're a little more subtle than the strong red. So let's do this, and let's do maybe white could work. Maybe this for just a bit of added color. I think we'll actually go for this guy just for the added color. Now, my thought process here is that we combine these arches together. I was hoping at one point that I could overlap them a little bit. Unfortunately, you kind of can't, but what I can do is maybe start with this guy and we can bring it over. We can hopefully line it up as best we possibly can, which is going to be roughly about there, I think, is going to be as good as we're going to get. And then we grab you and we're going to put this guy as close as we possibly can to that existing arch. Now, I'm not too sure how well this is necessarily going to work, but I think right about there is kind of perfect. They're just about touching, which is fine. And then we're going to just sort of do that a couple more times and create this beautiful little archway that's going to lead you through from the, I guess, the main road in town into this little park. It's going to be this little portal that brings you from what is going to be a relatively dense and busy road into this beautiful little natural space. That's the hope anyway. And I'll admit, it looks a little goofy. It looks a little silly. I don't know if it would have been better to do the hedges first, but the reason I've done the fence first is because we're probably going to have fences that connect to this whole thing, and I think it just makes a bit more sense that we would have the fences first. So let's just extend this path one more time. And I think what we'll do is one more hedge. So we'll not have it be symmetrical necessarily, but we'll have it, you know, all line up nicely like this. And I think I'm okay with that. I do kind of want it to be symmetrical though. So I think we're just going to experiment a little bit with one more of these guys. And we'll just put it right about there. And the way I'm getting these lined up, by the way, you might have noticed already, I'm using the little pixels on the ground to try and get these to be even. So for the wooden arches, it's 2 little tiles on either side that we're getting them lined up to. And then for these guys, it is just 1 little tile. And that's given me something that's relatively solid in terms of its layout. We can get rid of you. We can get rid of you. And this might be a bit much. But what I can do with this is put trees around it so that we can, well, I wonder if I could put hedges down the side of this as well. I might be getting a little too carried away with this. But my theory would be that if I did a hedge right about there, and I can manage to drag it back through here, which I can't necessarily do because it's going to clip with the existing hedge thing. But if I did something like that in a bunch of little spaces, it sort of brings it all together in a way that I really like. It makes these hedges, these arches feel a lot more connected. I don't know if I'm willing to do that though. I might do it. I might do it later. I might do it later because we're going to spend forever doing this. I'll do it later once we have the fences connected because that's going to be kind of important. And what we can also do, of course, is surround this with trees. So it really starts to feel like this beautiful portal that carries you from what is going to be a really dense urban street into just nature. You get the view of the water, the view of that other island. I think it's going to be amazing. So let's go ahead and figure out the rest of this road. We'll do a little something here. And I guess we just need to go sort of around and up to our research center. Now, the way I think we do this is we get the circle brush, and I think we go for a 1.5 on this. We'll use the line tool as well. And I want to try my best to go about here. So we'll just cut straight across, roughly a nice straight line. So right to, let's say, there. Should be fine. I don't think that's actually connected to the road though, so we're gonna need to redo that just to make sure that it's actually connected. And I should mention I'm using dirt this time. In the parks in Bellevue, we used a lot of sand, but since we're sort of doing this farming vibe and since we've used dirt for a lot of these paths already, I just think it makes sense. I just think it works, and I'm really excited to try and bring this all together with something that's gonna look a little bit different to Bellevue. I don't want to just, you know, perfectly recreate what we've done before. So I think this will be quite fun. I think we'll do a little curve right there. And I think this guy is going to run in a nice straight line. We do want to turn off the overwrite thing. Nice straight line to about there. And that's going to be one connection to this park from that main road. Obviously, the other one's way down there. And what we can do is just gradually bring this around a little bit down this way. We'll curve it back a little bit this way, and then we'll curve it sort of around again a little bit this way, so that we're following the curvature of the cliffs as well. I think that's going to look really good. And I sort of love the idea that this just sort of continues down the hill, and we'll have a little connection to the road right about here as well, so that we have options. And I'm also thinking we bring something down and around here. So we're looping around the research center. So let's try and follow some of these contour lines. We'll come out right about here for now. We can curve this around to about here, which is kind of perfect. This road might actually be a little bit too wide for this space, but I think it'll be okay once we get a bunch of trees in here. So we'll bring this to here as well. And then we just want to go straight across. It's not going to be perfect, but as we've said a million times, it really doesn't have to be. And then I think for the connection down this way, what we can do is we have some options. We could follow the curvature and the lines of the existing path. That might look a little too boring. That might be a little bit too, not symmetrical, but it's going to line up a little bit too much. I think it's going to be too much of the same. In saying that, I'm doing exactly that right now. So let's try and change it up a little bit. So it's going to curve kind of up this way. And then what we can do is bring it up and around a little something like this. I think that'll be kind of fun. We can obviously connect our main path right here to this new path at some point, but I want to bring this out right around like this. Maybe a little shorter, maybe a little bit less of a curve to right about there for now. I'm not too sure what's going to go over in the right here, but I think this will make for a great little connection in the middle. So we'll stamp here, and I think we want to curve some of these corners. I think it kind of makes sense that we would have some little curves going on here. So let's just try and get a nice little something going right there, and a nice little something going over on this side as well, just so it's not this right angle that's cutting through here. And I think that looks okay. Over on this side, we could do similar, or we could stamp a big circle in here, which I'm not against doing. In fact, if we stamp a really big circle, actually, we could do a tree in the middle of this, and I think that would look amazing. So let's just stamp you right there. We will go for a much smaller brush, and then maybe a 1 brush, erase that little part in the middle, and we can put a tree on that. And I think that'll look great. I think that'll look absolutely fantastic. And maybe, actually no, we're not going to do the same thing here, because the whole point is that you get that view straight through to the water and straight through to the other island. I say other island, the other side of the lake. And I suppose now we have a choice. We have to put some fences in here. Now, I'm looking at the ones that we haven't unlocked yet, and I really want these 2 fences right here. They look like they might have, I'm assuming those aren't lights hanging from it, but they look like they'd be really fun to put along the water's edge right here. I think what we'll do though is stick with the tried and true little small fence here, the same one we've used for the farms. The tall wooden fence, I mean, we can try it. We can put it over on this side. We'll start about here. We'll drag it out to about here. It looks, well, actually, it doesn't look too bad. I don't know that I love it though. I don't. I think I'm going to challenge myself to try it, because I think we can maybe make it work if we do the whole bushes thing that I've been talking about. So yeah, I think we'll try the tall wooden fence. And you might notice I'm doing the same thing here, where I'm lining it up with these little pixels. We're going to drag this guy out to right about there for now. And then if we go and modify this, we can actually drag it over so that it lines up properly. Or maybe it doesn't. We'll bring this in a little bit, is what we're going to have to do, and then add another node to it. And I should be able to place that node and then hopefully drag it through to about there, which I can. I'm going to move this node to be a little bit more central, just so everything kind of balances out nicely. And that looks okay. It's sort of giving some prison yard vibes, which I don't really want. But I'm willing to see how this plays out is what I'm willing to do. I'm also noticing you can adjust the curvature of these fences when you're adding more nodes to it, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's okay. I know I don't mess with fence curvature all that much, so it's not really the end of the world, but it probably would have been really useful for that little curve back there. We'll just bring this around as best we can. We're probably going to cover this thing in trees and bushes and all sorts anyway, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't line up perfectly, which it's not really going to. And again, as we've said, it doesn't have to. And honestly, I think that looks okay. I'm not 100% sold on this tall fence just yet. I'm really not, but I'm just going to give myself the challenge of making it work. Is I suppose what I'm going to do. So we'll bring this back and around this way as well. I think this road's a little bit straighter than the other one we just worked with. Obviously we have some curves in it, but I think I managed to get the lines a little cleaner in a few spots here and there. Can I just bring this straight through? Unfortunately, no. So we'll bring it to there. We'll bring it to there. And does that look okay? I think that looks okay. I might want to do some arches here as well. I'm not 100% sure if I want to. It won't be this that we do, but maybe a little arch here wouldn't hurt. Although I will say, unfortunately, this doesn't necessarily line up all that well. Oh wait, I can just place it through the fence. Okay, well, that makes my life a lot easier. Okay, that is a bit of a relief. Let's bring you back to about there, and let's bring you, we might have to just sort of adjust some of these curves a little bit, but we'll bring you to about there, I suppose. And I think that looks okay. I do. I actually really like that. I do. I really, really like that. Let's do, you know what? Let's do a pine tree in the middle of all of this, assuming it's not going to look a little bit too silly. I do like that one. I think that's quite nice. This one is pretty good as well. This one is, well, you know, I don't know about the massive birch looking pine trees. I think we go for this guy, and I think we put it right about there. Now, I will say that might get swapped out at some point, because I am aware, it's been pointed out in the comments, I've seen it on social media, I've seen it on Steam as well. There is a Christmas update coming to this game, and I think it is, when does this video go out? I think this video goes out on the 8th of December. I think the Christmas update is the 9th of December. So what's most likely going to happen is I'm going to record this episode and the next one. So the next one will go out on the day that the update comes out. And so me looking at the Christmas update will probably be the episode that goes out on the 10th. So yes, there's going to be like 3 episodes of this going out across 3 days, alongside some other stuff as well. It's going to be a busy week for the channel. I'm really excited for that Christmas update though. And I'm thinking, if we get a good looking Christmas tree, this guy is getting swapped out for a Christmas tree. And I'm probably going to try and build the little market in here with the idea that we might have a Christmas tree right in the middle of it as well. I think that could be really cool. In fact, I'm going to try and do that right now. I want to get myself a little, I said little, I want to get a decent sized brush. And I like the idea of maybe even going bigger than that, of just having this little space here where we could potentially put a gazebo if the tree, well, if/when the tree goes away. I should mention, I don't know if there's a Christmas tree coming to the game. I have no idea. I'm just assuming because it seems like the kind of thing that would. So my thought process is we have this circle right here. And what we can do is maybe go for something slightly larger, maybe a 2.5 cutout, maybe even a 3 right here. So we can have some kind of Christmas tree right in the middle of this circle. And I think for now, we can do a placeholder. We can do a nice big pine tree right in the middle of that circle. And I want to do, you know, I love the idea of I really hope they add like little gifts, little presents that you can put around the bottom of the tree. That's going to be really adorable. I'm actually really excited for that. Again, I have no idea what they're going to be doing with this update. So for now, let's just, I'm getting myself excited about something that might just let me down. Man, I play a lot of Star Citizen. I should know better than to get excited about updates in video games, especially lately, man. If you know anything about Star Citizen lately, especially with what's coming, oof, it's a rough time is what it is. Anyway, we're gonna move on from that conversation. The game, it's only been in development for 14 years and it's only raised $900 million. You know, they're a small indie project that might never see the light of day. We'll do some benches around the bottom of this. I think that's going to be very, very cool. Can I do some lights? Can you put lights on trees? That's a little disappointing. I was really hoping that you could. I don't quite understand why you can't, but you know what? That's okay. Let's do a little path. Let's go for the square tool again. Let's go for a nice small brush on this guy. And what we'll do is paint through here and we'll paint through here so that we have this connection straight to the tree. I should mention, actually, just while we're talking about comments, someone did point out, because I explained my little trick in the last episode, I think, about how you can just move the camera to get some nice straight lines right as I mess up that little straight line right there. Good job, me. Someone pointed out that there's a line tool for surfaces, which somehow I've just never acknowledged, and I don't know how or why. But yes, there is a line tool for surfaces. Thank you very much for pointing that out, because somehow I just haven't seen it. And I really don't know why. Anyway, let's do another little section of path right here. We'll come straight out this way. And what we can do is sort of curve up towards, this isn't curving, that's freeforming. I'm having a day. I'm having a day is what I'm doing. I'm definitely having a day. Let's freeform a little curve that just sort of goes this way a little bit, maybe not quite that much, but something like this. And then we'll curve it back down towards the existing path, because I think that's going to be kind of cool. And we could maybe connect it right here. Do I want to connect it right here is the question. I'm not 100% sure. Is that something we wanted to? I kind of do, actually. Obviously, this curve needs a little bit of work, but this could actually be a really nice little way to sort of come straight through and into the market. I think that's kind of cool. So let's just redo this whole section, because it does not look all that good. We can get ourselves a little square right here. We'll just stamp a little something, something. Let's go slightly bigger to about a 2. And is that central? I think it is, right about there. And right about there, maybe a little tiny smidge further. And then all we need to do is connect this all together in a way that doesn't look terrible. Which, as we have, that's freeforming again, man. I'm having a day. I am having a day. Let's bring this around. I think that looks okay. Obviously, we need some little bits tidied up down here at the bottom, but for the most part, I think we can pull this off if I just do something like this. I kind of like that. I think that's all right. What we can also do, of course, is just round out some of these corners down here, so this looks a little bit better. So we can do something like, I think something like that's okay. And over on this side, we want to do exactly the same thing, just going in slightly the opposite direction with the curve right there. So something like that should be okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. I kind of like that. And then over on this side, pretty much the same story. We can come straight out here. We're going to curve immediately kind of this way. And then we're going to curve back towards the path, a little something like that. And that gives us room to do some market stalls. It gives us room for the Christmas tree right in the middle. It's going to provide food coverage for people that live in this area. Hopefully these guys as well, because they don't have a market right now. And I think that's where we get started, is we see if we can get some decent market coverage in here. And if we build this guy, it does cover all those houses, which is fantastic. So let's figure out where everything's going to go. I think we start with the vegetable stall because it's the biggest one. And do I want them facing that way, or do I want them facing the water? I think the vegetable stall is, first off, not going to snap to the path. Second off, I think it's going to go right in here. I like this as a little spot for it. So right about there for the vegetable stall. I think we can do the fruit stall maybe over on this side. I also don't want them all to be perfectly 90 degrees to each other. So actually this one's quite long. Can I get it in this space? Is that a good place for it? I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think honestly, yeah. I think that's okay. I think that's a decent little spot for that stall. I think it fills up the space really nicely. The poultry stall, which is where everyone's going to be getting their Christmas turkeys, which, by the way, can I just say that I will not stand for... There's been so much turkey slander on the internet the last couple of years from people being like, man, it's so dry. You just don't make it right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news during the festive season. But if your turkey's dry, you've just not made it right. You know, I will not stand for this. I am born and raised by an Irish Catholic grandmother and a deeply Protestant grandfather, so you can imagine that was a fun household. If there's one thing that woman can do, to this day, is make a mean turkey. You're just not making it right. It's that simple. Also, just on the topic of this, we have a tradition in my house where we make a game out of stealing the stuffing from the turkey while it's cooking. Obviously, we let it cook a little bit so we don't literally die. But yeah, I'm sure other people do this. But for the longest time, again, raised by my grandparents, so when I was very, very young, my aunt was still in the house. But even, you know, if she's visiting around Christmas these days, we do the same thing. If my mom's visiting, we do the same thing. Basically, we just make a game out of who can be the first to steal the stuffing from the turkey while it's cooking, because it just really winds my gran up. It's really funny because what we do is we'll steal it and then we'll pass a very casual comment about the condition, the state of, the quality of the stuffing. We'll pass that comment on to my gran, and it might take her a second to realize what we've just said. But then she, you know, she's in on the joke now as well. She doesn't actually get annoyed about it, but it's great. And my gran was considering this year that maybe we're not going to do a whole turkey because there's far fewer people in the house this year. I think it's just her and me and my cousin. So basically it was like, oh, we'll just get, you know, some turkey breasts. We'll just do it a bit smaller than usual and it'll be a bit easier. And she's talking about how she's not as able as she used to be to, you know, prepare and stuff a turkey, which I totally understand. So basically I've volunteered as tribute. I'm going to be preparing the turkey this year because I will not stand for a lack of a full turkey. Not because I'm trying to be entitled or anything like that. It's not that. I just really like turkey. I'm not going to lie. I just really, really like turkey. Also, I think this market stall should be over here instead, actually. Yeah, I really like turkey, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's my favorite time of year, not because of the gifts, not because of the family, none of that. I don't care about any of that. I just want the turkey because it's really good. Because it's cooked right. Because it's actually cooked properly and it's not dry. Yeah, I can deal with turkey leftovers. You know, that's the thing. It's like, oh, what are we going to do with all of this turkey? And I don't know what this wee business is that people come up with the leftover turkey. I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it because I could just eat that stuff. I don't eat turkey a lot throughout the year because I don't want to spoil, you know, the turkey around Christmas. I'm probably making everyone really hungry with this. I don't know. I'm supposed to be building a market here, man. And I'm just going off on one about turkey and how you don't cook it right. But, yeah, no, I don't eat a lot of turkey throughout the year. So when Christmas comes around and we do turkey, I would say I go ham on it, but that seems incorrect. I go a bit feral, basically, is what I do. What am I talking about? Oh, you know, I've really missed this one-man podcast format. It feels like forever since I've properly done this. So I'm glad people seem to be enjoying it because I'm having an absolute blast with this game. Now I think we'll do some little fences down around here just to sort of enclose some of this space. I think it could be kind of nice if we have a little bit of this going on for the market stalls just to change things up a little bit, make it look like a little bit of an enclosed space. Does that look okay? You know, that almost feels too much. It kind of does. It feels too enclosed. I like the open vibe that we have here. We might have to sort of enclose this with plants and hedges and things like that instead of fences, because I think doing fences is just going to be way too much. And I suppose that's as good a time as any. That's probably the signal that it is time to go in here with some trees. So let's do some medium trees. We'll start here with a nice medium tree. I don't want to block too much of the view here, but I do want a decent number of trees in here to make this place feel not overgrown, but I want people to go into this park and I want them to get a little bit lost in it. So I think having this one big tree in the middle makes sense. And I think down here, like I said, we kind of want to enclose this thing. I think it's time that we try this business with the hedges. So can I get away with this? Obviously, I can't go through the existing archway. So that's going to be something we have to deal with. But I can go into it partially. So if I do that, and then we kind of just do it again, is my thought process. I can't go right through, which is really annoying. But again, I can sort of go to about there. And I really do think that this, you know, I could probably do this with bushes as well, but I really do think that this is going to, I think it's going to bring this all together. I think it's going to make it feel like this archway is all one thing. rather than the, the series of separated archways that it actually is. Does that look okay? I kind of think it does. I kind of think it does. I think I'm just about gonna get away with this. So let's just keep going with it. Let's just see if I can make this work. And it's not perfect, but I think it's okay. I also think what we're going to try and do here, like I said, is create this little sense of it being a portal that carries you through to this park. So a nice tree right about there. I think a nice big tree right next to it could be an idea as well, just to really create that sense of there being this sort of wall of nature that's kind of blocking your view. I don't love the idea that we're blocking the view here, but that's kind of the idea, right? Is that we're going through here and we're very much creating a tunnel straight through. That's what it's supposed to be. It's a tunnel that carries you right through to this park. So again, we're doing a bunch of trees here. This is maybe a little bit much. I don't know that I love this. I really don't, but I think it's necessary for the vibe that we're going for with this whole thing. I also think we can maybe get away with one more large tree just back here, just something like that. And I kind of hate that. Oh no, I kind of hate that. I kind of really dislike that. Maybe. Oh no, am I about to do the cypress tree thing again? I think I'm about to do the cypress trees again. Yeah. I'm gonna do the most boring, it's the most middle-class suburban option that we have available, but I think we're doing the cypress trees. I think this is the way we kind of solve this problem is that. Oh, it does kind of work, doesn't it? It's really upsetting. I really don't like that this is the solution here, but I don't think my wild nature plan really worked. Yeah, it does kind of work, doesn't it? That's really okay. All right. That's I'm a little sad about that, but I can't say I'm surprised either. Let's do, look, we can do some big trees in here, right? We can do like a big tree there, and I don't love that tree either. I do like this one. I kind of like this one. That'll do. We'll do the one big tree for now. We still need to do bushes and things in here. We'll probably do like a little park in here. There's plenty of stuff we can do. Let's just focus on the smaller stuff for a second. Let's get some color into this space. So I think what we'll do, since we're kind of going for the Christmassy vibe, is we'll do some red bushes at the entrances to this space. I think that could be kind of nice, just on either side of the little paths that we have here. So that's going to mean here and here as well, which I think looks fine. We can switch over to using some regular little bushes because we can just sort of do red and green, I think, as the general vibe for the space. And I think that'll kind of work. So we'll sort of do this right here as well. I might go a little bit further with the red bushes on this side, just go a little bit wider with them, just so not everything is perfectly symmetrical. And we can do some big bushes in a couple of different spots, just so not everything, again, looks perfectly symmetrical. I mean, it's a very similar layout, but we just have the bushes in different spots, so the heights are slightly different. And maybe, I don't know, we could throw one extra bush right back there, again, so things feel a little different. In terms of flowers, maybe some white flowers, maybe some red. I think we'll stick with the red is what we'll do, because I also know that I don't know if it's going to be on the ground, but as a part of that sort of December update, I think snow is a thing, so white flowers might get a little bit lost. Basically, I'm building this place in preparation for an update that I know very little about, so this might not work out at all. This might be a complete failure. It's what this might be, but I'm hoping for the best. Town to City has not let me down so far, and I don't suspect it's about to with what could be a really adorable update. So I think we just decorate with some bushes. I think we just make this place feel really cozy, and snow, if it's a thing, we'll do what snow does best and make everything else feel super cozy. And you know what? Snow is another soapbox that I could get up onto and not complain about. Quite the opposite. I love snow. But the amount of people that I've spoken to, they're like, man, I hate snow. I hope it doesn't snow. I don't want to hear it. Basically, I don't want to hear it. I'm not interested. I love the stuff. Now, admittedly, I don't drive, so I get it. But I still don't want to hear it. I love snow, and I'm never going to stop loving snow. We don't get enough snow. Oh, look at this. Oh, I love this. While I was putting all this together, I wasn't really sure anyone would make it out to this bench to sit and look at the water, but they absolutely can get in there. I love that. Oh, I love that. Just that little hidden bench right there, away from everything, just to sit and look at the water. That makes me so happy that they can actually get out here. It really does. Oh, I love this. I really do love how this is coming together. It's such a... It's a densely packed area. It is definitely that. I also got a Steam achievement for having a house that apparently has 500 points of decoration, which I don't know where that is. This one has 169. This one has 70. This farmhouse is 200. Is it a house or is it just a build? I'm assuming it's a building because some of these stalls, yeah, 587 decoration points is 601. Yeah, that's quite a lot. I've been a little busy in here, is what I've been. I'm not too sure how much further I want to go with this right now, because we do need to get some people in here. We do need to start bringing the population up a little bit. But I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world to maybe just put 2 more trees, maybe there and maybe there. Can I get away with that? I don't know that I can. First off, it's the same tree. Second off, it might just be a little bit much. It's a little bit much. Yeah, I don't love that. We might have to come up with something else for trees in here, but at the very least, we should be creating again that illusion that this tunnel is just this portal into nature, and that's all I want it to be. In fact, I'm gonna just do. I know I said I wasn't going to do the white flowers just in case they disappear in the snow, but I really like the idea of just these sort of red and white bushes bringing you sort of through here. I don't know how much further I want to go with these because I'm really trying to not overdo it, but maybe something like that. Maybe just one more little red bush kind of at the end there, just on either side. I think that looks okay. I think we can work with that. And then I think if we go and randomize some small bushes just to sort of dot around these, we can make it look a little bit more dense, which is kind of what I want. I want this place to not look overgrown and like it's not looked after, but just like, you know, nature has kind of been allowed to do what nature does, right? It's not overgrown. It's just a little bit wild. That's all it is. A little tiny bit wild. We'll get some tall bushes in here as well for a little bit of height variation, just to change things up ever so slightly. And I do like the idea of sort of coming through here with some bushes as well. So we'll dot a couple of tall bushes right there. We'll do a couple of the little small bushes just around this as well. We will cover this whole area in flowers too. We'll do maybe a little weird kind of pattern of small bushes there with some large ones here and maybe down here as well. And then I think we do go around this with the red flowers again. I think it's if it does snow, if the ground does get covered in snow, which I don't know, it's gonna look really good. I think it's gonna look really good, or it's gonna look really violent. I don't know which. It could look a little bit violent with all the red. Yeah, it might. This might not have the vibe that I'm looking for, but we're gonna find out. Is what we're gonna do. That's all we can do. Is wait and see what happens. A couple more little bushes right there, and I think a couple more little bushes just in here, just to sort of feather things out a little bit, isn't gonna be the worst idea in the world. And how does that look from back here? I'm sort of okay with it. I'm sort of okay with that. Now, I suppose, I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't finished by any means. There's so much more space to build in here. And I think just to remind myself of what I'm trying to do, I want to get rid of these guys just because those trees weren't mine. I'm going to get rid of those guys, although these guys are now complaining about a lack of decoration. So maybe what we do is we go for the purple. We'll put some nice purple flowers there and there. We'll do some purple flowers there and there. We'll do some red flowers on these houses, and we'll do some white on this one in the middle, just so they have a little bit of decoration. We could give them some furniture as well. I think that could be quite nice. I think just a little chair over here could be, maybe over here actually could be quite nice for this guy. We'll do a chair right there with maybe a little table. Wait, hold on a minute. Can I turn this? I can turn it into a shelf? Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Oh my God, of course you can. Of course you can turn it into a shelf. It's town to city. What am I thinking? Oh, that's amazing. That's very, very cool, actually. Oh, I love that. I really do. I think that's kind of I like that a lot. I like the idea of just the little table right there. We'll do a little bench right there. We could do a picnic table on someone's balcony if we really wanted to, which honestly, yeah, why not? Let them, they can sit out in the balcony and enjoy lunch if that's a thing that they want to do. We could do something similar here as well. We'll do like a little table and chairs set up so people can sit and enjoy, I don't know, breakfast again or lunch or whatever it might be. We'll do 4 of them just because we can. Doesn't line up perfectly, but it doesn't have to. And then these guys, maybe they spent a little bit more money on a nice metal bench, and it's going to sit, I guess, I don't know where it's going to go because it doesn't really fit is the problem. Let's move you. Let's have this go just up there. So it's a little bit out of the way, but we still have the color from. I actually really don't like that. Let's just get rid of it completely. And let's just do the metal bench underneath the window. I think that's kind of a nice spot for it. We can do maybe just some flowers sitting down next to it. I think that's actually kind of lovely. I do like that a lot. And some lights are going to be needed over here as well. So let's do these slightly smaller lights. You do get slightly, they're slightly thinner when you use the lanterns. We'll do 1, 2, and 3. And I want to say that's probably going to be enough. Now, the backs of these buildings do have decorations as well, or room for decorations as well. I'm not going to worry too much about those right now. I don't really think I need to. Please tell me you're going to the park bench. You are not. You're just waving at me. Okay, that's fine. You can just wave. That's okay. So I think when it comes to getting more people into Font Brock, what I'd like to do is take out pretty much all of these trees over here, and I'm going to try and bring some houses kind of around this curve a little bit. I'm going to start just here though. So we're going to try and put these guys nice and close to that cliff, because then if anyone moves in that happens to want to be near a cliff, we have a house that can sort of accommodate that. I think we'll also go for, let's see, we have blue, we have red. Let's do these sort of peachy houses here. I think that could be kind of fun. Or these ones, no, we'll do the peachy ones. I think those will be kind of nice. And again, we'll try and get this to be nice and close to the cliff. So we'll start, I want to say here for house number 1. And I don't know if I want to follow the curve with these or if I want to set them back a little bit. I think setting them back would probably make a bit more sense, but I'm also wanting to do this in such a way that I can give these guys backyards. I want to use that space behind them for benches and things like that. I want to fence it in a little bit, put some trees back there. So I think we do this. I think we're gonna just start with 2 is what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna try my best to put a backyard on this. Now I think the way we do it is maybe the tall natural stone wall, just to change things up a little bit. We'll use this guy, and what we'll do is go to not there, but I want to try and get it to line up perfectly with the edge of the house. So right about there, we want to come straight out along this line to about there. And if we confirm that, I can drag this guy in to the edge of the house there. So it kind of nicely just gives us that perimeter. It does feel a little too rustic for what I'm wanting to do here though. So we might actually want to use the regular brick wall here. I think that's going to make just a smidge more sense as far as I'm concerned. So let's try and get this in a nice straight line. I think to about there is going to be good. So right to about there, that looks fine. This guy obviously needs to then move to that corner, which it now is. And I think I need to just adjust you as well. So we have this going in kind of a nice straight line to about there. And I think that looks all right. Yeah, that's pretty good. From here, we want to add another node and of course bring it over as best we possibly can so it lines up with the tunnel here so that we're properly enclosing things just like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Now, the way I'm going to separate these into 2 separate backyards is relatively straightforward. I don't know. Do I want to use the tall stone wall for this as well? We certainly could. My thinking was we just do this, basically. We just run a wall sort of down between the houses and sort of into the tunnel like that. I guess that's okay. I guess that kind of works. I wasn't really sold on the brick wall there, but I think it's all right. And then over on this side, I'm wondering if I want to do something similar. I wonder if maybe we want to have a little wall that kind of comes out to say there and runs up into the cliff in one way or another. Not 100% sure what this is going to look like, but it would sort of enclose this little front part of the house as well, which I think just makes sense. And you know, I think we could do with a third house right about here. We don't actually have the ability to get rid of rocks just yet, so we can't really put a 4th house in here or, well, anything else really. So I think this kind of works. I think having the walls around it with the hedges as well is kind of a nice touch. And I suppose now is as good a time as any to open the station. And while we wait for people to get here, I can figure out what the detailing and decoration is going to look like in these spaces. Now, the first thing I want to do is go in here and just get some grass into this space, because it's a whole lot of just dirt back here. I think it could look a little bit nicer with some actual grass. We're not going to do all of it. I think around the rock can have a little smidge of dirt right there. I think that's okay. And I suppose we're going to want to get some trees in here as well to sort of mask the sound of the trains coming by. Now, I was really hoping I could get a decently sized tree back there, but unfortunately it seems like a small tree is going to be about all I can do. So we'll do one of the cypress trees just because it fills in the space kind of nicely. We'll do something like a medium tree maybe here, again, to sort of try and just block the sound of the trains a little bit. We can go for another medium tree, maybe right about there, and maybe a large tree. Can I get a large tree into this corner? I'm really hoping that I can. I think right about there is probably fine. I think that sort of works. I do think in this corner here, we could maybe do with a little something, and I'm going to go with the boring cypress tree just because it kind of fills the space really, really well. And I do like the look of that. Now, we do want people coming back here. I do want people sort of actually using this space. So I think what we're going to do is maybe just say that these guys have like a little garden thing going on. So they have like these, you know, potted plants and whatnot. They're tending to them. They're looking after them. That's what they've got sort of at the back of their garden. We could maybe do some kind of park bench back here as well, so that they can sit and sort of enjoy their yard. I like the idea of that being at a bit of an angle. I think that's kind of cool. And I suppose we should figure out what kind of flowers we're going to have here. Now, these are sort of peachy colored houses. We could do peachy colored flowers, but I think that's going to blend too much. So I think the purple. I think the purple ones are pretty good. We'll do those on the front of the house as well. And I think we'll also do some purple flowers just in the garden right here. Maybe mixed with some white flowers just to change things up ever so slightly. I think that could be kind of cool. And then maybe some purple hedges back here could be interesting as well. Maybe a little something just over here by the wall, and then maybe just some small bushes just around it so it doesn't feel like it's just sitting there on its own, because as a great painter once said, every bush, every tree, and everybody needs a friend. So there we go. We'll give that that hedge right there a little friend or two. I am thinking we could do, just speaking of hedges, a little something down here just to kind of fill that space. I have done some hedge stuff along the walls already in this yard, but I think this is okay. I think this sort of works, and I think I kind of like that. I'm also really enjoying the idea of putting maybe some lights above all of these doors, because I think that makes sense. And I think it also makes sense to do some lights out here at the back as well. Now, I don't know if I want to do them above the windows at the top or the bottom. I'm kind of thinking the bottom, because I think it's going to be better for light in the yards themselves. And I'm also thinking that we might want some kind of little light just in the side here. So let's do a little lantern there, and we'll do a little lantern right about, I want to say there as well. And that should sort of shine light into both of those little alleyways. And then over here, we can do, I guess, a little lantern right here and a little lantern just up, let's say, there as well. And again, that should sort of brighten things up in this space, which is what we're looking for. And I guess that just means, oh, we do have someone coming back here already. I love this. Oh, I love this so much. That is perfect. Now, for this space here, what I'm thinking is some kind of mix of maybe tables and chairs. I'm not really too sure. We could just do benches, I suppose. I think a couple of little benches down here could look quite nice. Just a little something out of the way, a nice little space to sit and relax and kind of, I don't know, read a book or do whatever it is people do in those weird corners of the yard that they don't really have any real purpose for. Everyone has one. Everyone has a corner of their yard that they just don't know what they're doing with. It's just a simple fact of life is what it is. So we'll do a little something like this, and I think I'm okay with that. I don't think I want to overdo it. I think just a little something simple is kind of fantastic. And I sort of love the idea of having a slide back here. I think that could be really fun. So just, I mean, it's, what way do I want to do this? Do I want to do a slide back here? I think I want to do a slide back here. I think that could be kind of fun. They can stand up here and kind of wave at the train driver as he goes by. I think that'll be, we can imagine that that's a thing that they'll do. I think that'd be kind of adorable, to be completely honest. So I'm just going to continue to imagine that that is a thing that that happens in this game. And I suppose that right there covers up the wall quite nicely. I think we could do some little small bushes here as well, just to try and continue to mask that wall. Obviously, the wall is very present, but I think that's kind of a nice way to decorate it. Can I put anything on that wall? No, that makes sense. I think what we'll do then is a little mix of flowers in here, just to change things up, just to bring a little bit of color to this space. I think a little something like this, and maybe one more right about there is kind of nice. I do really like that, actually. And you know what? I think we give them another bench. They already have two out here. I don't think it's going to hurt if they have a third one. It's going to be a slightly different one, though. Maybe it's a new one, since they can sit and kind of watch the slide, if that's a thing that they want to do. And you know what? just speaking of flowers, I think I want to do some flowers that hang down underneath this this balcony. So let's go here and let's go here. And I think that's kind of nice. I do sort of enjoy that. And then maybe just a little flower box right there as well. Yeah, I think that's okay. I don't think we want to overdo it. I don't think we need to overdo it. We could maybe just do a little something with a hedge again, just down this side of the wall to change things up ever so slightly. I think that might be a good idea. So let's just do this, and then let's try to adjust it so it actually sits the way I want it to, which is right there. And you know what? I like that a lot. I really, really do. And then I guess for this last house, I want to give them a nice big tree right here, because I sort of want to block the view of the little alleyway that exists between these two houses. I don't really want anyone going down there. I mean, they're not going to, but I also don't want to see it, is basically what I'm getting at. So we're just going to do a little something to sort of box that in a little bit and make it a little bit less interesting, essentially. We don't want anyone going down there because it looks interesting, and now I don't think it does. Now, in terms of plants for this place, I'm sort of thinking these guys. I think these could be kind of nice. I think they could fill out this space really, really well. So we'll just go around this this hedge with a little bit of color right there. We'll figure out something for this space, and then for the garden itself, I really don't know on this one. I really hadn't thought ahead to figure out what was going to go in here, but I think a picnic bench could be kind of nice. I think putting it maybe a little bit of an angle right here is pretty good. We do have other decorative things. We do have things like sunshades, which could be kind of fun. Do I want to do a sunshade in here? You know what? I think I maybe do. I like the idea of the blue one, just to block the sun a little bit, because that's a thing that we can do. We could do hopscotch back here as well. That could be kind of a fun option, actually. And I think, you know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. And then we're going to move this just a little bit away from it. And that seems a little nicer. It's a little busy, but I think it should be. I think every good fun backyard is going to be a little bit busy, and that's okay. And then I think some hedges just over here to sort of block the wall that tiny little bit. It would be nice if I could put them on the rock, but unfortunately that's not really an option. And I suppose back here, I don't really know what to do back here, if I'm completely honest with you. I've really got no idea. Maybe they've got some potted sunflowers somewhere. I don't really know where these would go either. Maybe back here we could do some potted sunflowers. Maybe they're looking after some plants as well, much like their neighbor down the way. They've got like a little tree here. We can imagine it's an apple tree. It doesn't look like an apple tree, but I have an apple tree in my backyard, so they can have one as well. Mine, admittedly, is not in a pot. It used to be, but it's definitely not anymore. It got a little bit too big for sitting in a pot these days, but it's still, you know, we still get apples every year. We make usually apple pies with them, and they're very good, actually. Just in case you were curious, they're very, very good. I do enjoy a good apple pie. So there you go. There's a little something about me. I think that looks pretty good as well in terms of the flowers. I think we could do maybe just a couple over here to sort of make it look like they're growing just a little bit across the path, which, by the way, the paths on these, I decided were going to be a little bit different to the rest of them. I like to imagine that this is maybe, I mean, it's dirt. The texture is dirt, but maybe it's tiles, or it's paved differently, or it's like a sandstone or something like that. It doesn't have to be dirt. We can imagine it's something else. And I think in here as well, actually, let's just do a couple more of these flowers just to sort of fill the space a little bit, because we can. We'll rotate this one around. We'll rotate it again, and we'll put it, well, actually, I don't know where to put this one, if I'm completely honest with you. I guess there is fine, and we can grab some of these guys and maybe just sort of feather it out a little bit, like this and like this. And yeah, that looks okay. I think I can work with that. I think that'll look pretty good. And what's good as well is we have people that want to move in just down this way, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's go ahead and figure out the butchers. We can deal with the clothing store as well, and we can finally get people coming into this market over here, which I'm so excited about. I'm so keen to see people using this market over here. It's going to be amazing, is what it's going to be. Now, we are having some problems with the warehouse connection to this poultry stall. The warehouse is fully staffed, which is a little bit of a problem. So we're actually going to need another warehouse for this space over here, which is honestly okay. I don't mind that too much. I don't think I want to go for the big warehouse, but the little small warehouse could sort of fit in here. I don't know if I love this this space for it. It feels a little out of place over here. But we could build a little small warehouse, say here, and then put some stuff around it. I feel like it takes away from the pet shop though. I feel like the pet shop in here, this area, needs a farm of some sort. So in terms of the warehouse, we could just build another one. That would be another option, I suppose. We have this area in here if I wanted to build a second warehouse, which I'm not opposed to doing. It feels a little weird to build a second warehouse in there. We could build the big one. Is that an option? Does it fit? It doesn't seem to fit. That's unfortunate. Oh, hold on. Oh, it does. There's like oh, hold on now. I think if I can get this to work, I might do it because it sort of fits like that one spot right there. It does sort of fit. Now, do I love this? Not really. Am I sold on this as where I want this warehouse to be? Also not really. I am going to build it though, just because I'm curious to see what it looks like when we zoom out and we get a proper look at this thing. I mean, this is a good spot for a warehouse, to be fair. And we do have room back here for more decorations. If we want to have more decorations for it, we can sort of decorate around the front here a little bit if we really wanted to. So for example, we can do a nice square brush with no dithering, and we can do this and sort of make it look like it's a continuation of that path. Do I like that? I don't know that I do, but I'm also thinking that maybe this house, if it were to be upgraded, will that does not make it look better. It's not even close to making it look better. I don't know that I love that. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure I'm a fan. Although I wonder if we moved this house and replaced it with something like the opticians or the shoe shop, which looks like it could fit in there, that might be okay. That might be okay. We might want to try that. I'm also going to say that these guys who don't want pets can live over here, and that'll be totally fine. We can get maybe 2 people to work in that warehouse, and that seems to have sorted out the issues we were having. I'm not sold on this. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sold on this, but I'm also not sold on these houses being right here anymore. I feel like we could do something better with this. So I'm slightly tempted to turn these around and put them on this road, which might let me get a third one in here, which would actually be really good. So you know what? Let's try it out. Let's move this one at the top first. We'll also pause while we do this. It could also just go in here. That would also be an option, but that feels a little cramped. Yeah, that looks that looks a little bit silly. What we'll do is just rotate this guy around, and I want to say it's going to live right about there-ish. I'm going to bring it down as well because I can do some kind of little park space next to it. But right about there, we'll bring you down, and we'll try to line these up as best we possibly can, which I'm hoping I can do a little something like this. I also want them relatively close together because I think this one in the middle is going to stay quite tall, and we're going to have some on the sides that are not quite as tall. So we'll do something like this, and we could, you know, I actually kind of like that. We could, hopefully, get another one just back here. Now, can I get them to line up, or is this going to start eating into my curb and my path? It doesn't really look like it, which is fine. So we'll do a house right there, and we have this space, which arguably could probably have a house in it as well if we set it back a little bit, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we'd be eating into the path a little bit, but you know what? That might be okay. We'll get this built. We can move you into this house. We can move you into, well, once this one's built, we can move you into that house is what we can do. So you, again, this house is not available. There we go. You can go live there. And that gives us a couple of new families, which is fantastic news. We can get you working in the butcher. We can get you working in this winery as well. And we still, oh man, we have so much demand for people in all of these market stalls. We really do. But I think what I'm going to try and do is just get all of these stalls to have at least one person working. And you know, just like I said, I think we're going to try and get a shoemaker in here. I think this is a pretty good place for it. I think it fits really nicely on that corner, and I think it's going to work really well to make this corner feel a little bit more complete. Although we do have the opticians, I think the shoemaker is the way to go. So let's just see. I think that is probably about as good as we're going to get. We can try and straighten it up with that corner on the right side there. And I think maybe right about there for the shoemaker is what we're going to go for. We can speed things up a little bit, and we can hopefully get this thing to look sort of decent. I don't mind how it is right now. So if we go in and we get the stone, we can kind of paint underneath this. And I think the way we'll do it is we'll paint right about here. We'll bring this around and obviously connect it across the front as well. And then what I need to do is figure out this spot, which I guess we just do that with. And I suppose that's okay. I mean, this little space back here is almost certainly going to be trees, and maybe a little well back here could be kind of nice. This space in here, I'm not really too sure what it's going to be yet. I don't want to waste it. That's sort of the important thing. And that's actually kind of why I'm thinking that this warehouse might still need to be moved, because I could, if I wanted to, put a little teeny tiny warehouse back here, and that might be kind of cool. That might be a really good spot for a second, admittedly much smaller warehouse, because this guy, I mean, it looks fine. It's not a terrible looking building, and honestly, the look of it in there is kind of growing on me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not sure. I'm really, really not sure. I also need to turn off the station here because we have people moving in all the time, and we do not have the room for them just yet. So I think what we'll do, just because we can, is go ahead and upgrade this house. I don't necessarily love the look of this upgraded house, but I think it's okay. We can have the one in the middle be a little bit taller, and then one of you guys can go ahead and move in right there. And then one of you guys, well, you guys in general, could maybe move into one of these houses if we upgrade them, which I might very well do. But first things first, let's get people into this warehouse. Oh man, we need a lot of people for the shoemaker. I might have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew here. We're going to need to seriously grow this town's population. I realized right at the start of the episode, I said that is a thing that we need to do, and I've done very little to do that. I built 4 houses is what I've done to grow the population, and a park. Not even a full park, just a little bit of a park. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I think this warehouse needs to go. It just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't, because I think the optician could live in here. I think we can get away with the optician in here. I think we can make this work. We need to bring it over this way, line it up as best we possibly can. I want to say about there should be fine. And then what we can do is build a teeny tiny little warehouse back here. Just another small one should be enough to keep us pretty good. That's going to be the hope anyway. If I build it right about, say, there, I'm not sure what can go in this space. I haven't really decided yet, but I'm hoping that I can have like a little alleyway that cuts through here and that sort of cuts through here. And that's how we get access to this warehouse. And I think that's going to be good. I do. I think we could build another little storage yard in here. I think that could be really cool. Not really too sure about this space. I still, like I said, I have no idea, but we'll figure it out is what we'll do. So for now, let's get the path for this warehouse. We want to make sure that we're just using a nice straight line through there. It's not going to work perfectly, but honestly, that's probably fine. We can erase that little bit of line that we're not using. And then do I want this to go straight down beside this house? I'm not really too sure. It does look like it's going to fit down here perfectly though, which is exactly what I wanted. Now, do I want it to be an alleyway with dirt, or do I want to use the plaza? And I'm kind of thinking the plaza probably makes sense here. So we'll do exactly that. We'll bring this across. And I guess we're just going to find out if I can bring it straight down. If I just do this, it does sort of work, which I'm not really against. I think that's kind of interesting. Not really sure why it's turned into dirt right here. That's a little bit odd, but I think we can fix that with No, apparently I can't. That's very strange. I'm not sure what's going on there. If I just tidy this up, it kind of goes away again. Interesting. It's very, very strange. Okay. In that case, give me a slightly larger brush and we'll take this away. We're going to have to freeform the removal of this little part here as well, just to properly tidy that up. And I guess what we do is use the square brush again. We'll go for a size 1 and we'll just do this. No, not that. Can I get this to work? Does that work? That sort of works. Okay. So we'll bring that through there. We'll take off the extra parts that we're not necessarily looking for once again. So just like that. And these guys are going to have to essentially just sort of merge some way, somehow, in a way that doesn't look terrible here. So let's just try freeforming this. I have, oh wow, it does not like, oh, it kind of works. Okay. Not 100% sure how this is going to turn out, but I think what we'll do actually is sort of freeform it this way. And then all I need to do is sort of tear away at some little chunks of this path. So we'll do here and we'll do here. We can do, let's say here and that part as well, and here. And that actually is, I think, going to work, which is great news for me because I wasn't really convinced that it was going to work. Does that look all right? Yeah, I think I can work with that. I do. I think I can work with that. As for over here, I'm still a little bit undecided on where this is necessarily going to go. I kind of like the idea of it coming around here and then we build something sort of next to it. So let's try doing exactly that. We'll bring this up to about this spot. I realize I'm freeforming this, which is totally fine. We can make this work. We'll bring it around to about here as well. And this path is what? That's 7 units across. So we want to do this basically, and that gives us our path here. And we want to do this, and it gives us our path right here. We need to tidy that up a little bit again. And I think I'm just going to chip away at this little corner to make it look slightly rounded. And I'm going to just do something like this to make that corner feel slightly rounded. And over here, we'll do the same thing just to make that corner feel slightly rounded. And I kind of like that, actually. I do. What are you complaining about? No path connection to the station. That's got me slightly worried. That's got me slightly worried. Can I still build this back here? Can I just do this? There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I think putting a little yard in here is going to be kind of perfect for it. I think we can also do a little bit of painting here just to bring this this texture straight through, which I think is always going to be a good thing. A little bit of grass over here to tidy up this side, and you know what? We'll tidy up this bit as well. And you know, I think this time going for the tall fence is the better thing to do. I think that sort of looks the part. And I think what we can also do is maybe go in here with a bunch of chairs right behind the, what was this? The opticians to, I don't know, give them like a little break area, a little space that they can sit and, I don't know, have their lunch when they're not working, whatever it might be. I think this yard will probably be shared with the warehouse. So we'll give them something that's a little bit asymmetrical here. The chairs don't all match. I think that's okay. We probably don't want to go too crazy with different benches. I don't think we need too many of those, but I do want to get my hands on things like these crates. I think those are going to be really important for making this feel like it's a warehouse yard. I think that's going to be really good. So a little something like this in there. We can do some of these barrels as well, just to make it feel like we've got a bunch of stuff being stored next to the warehouse. We'll do another barrel right about here, another little barrel right there, and just a few more crates here and there. Again, just to make it feel that little bit busier. Now, I would like to get my hands on the old ladder. I do like placing this thing in and around here. Can I do this with it so that they have to go under the ladder? I know people say it's bad luck. You know, I was going to say I've gone under many a ladder in my life and not had a whole lot of bad luck, but now that I think about it, that there might be some truth to that. There's, yeah, there might be a degree of truth to that, actually. We'll not dwell on that for too long, but you might be onto something there. Can I do this? Do I want to do this? Do I want the little archway at the front? Is it too much? It feels like it could be a bit too much for this yard, but you know what? I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna get the archway. We'll put this guy right here for now. We can shrink this guy down a little bit as well. And then the archway itself just needs to be there, which means I need to move that crate as well. So this crate can live there while you get shifted to that spot right there. And then the fences get moved in to go right up against it on that side and right up against it. It apparently doesn't want to work on this side. Really? That's surprising. I'm not sure why it wouldn't want to work. Oh, hold on. We'll go to here. That's fine. And we'll drag it out again because it seems to let you kind of do this. There we go. Actually, that was a really good idea. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. And you know, I've got to be honest, I almost forgot to do the terrain paints at the front of the opticians here as well. So what we'll do is paint right up to about there. We'll paint right up to this path as well. And then we'll get the round brush at a pretty decent size to try and round out this corner just a little bit. And I suppose that's okay. I suppose that kind of works. I don't know what this space is going to be yet. I haven't figured that out either. Maybe, maybe it's just like another storage yard or something. I really don't know. I'm really not too sure. This part I feel could be like a little park. I know we have hopscotch and a slide over here already, but this, I mean, technically they're private. Technically people shouldn't just be wandering in there. So maybe what we do is we get another fence and we bring maybe something fancier too. Maybe like the tall metal fence or the actual fancy fence could be kind of nice here just to change things up, just for something that looks a little bit different for the neighborhood. That could be kind of nice. I'm also realizing that rounding off the corners of this path might not have been the best idea, but you know what? It's okay. We'll make it work. We'll go to here and we'll bring this down to about there. And does that look okay? You know what? It's a bit much, isn't it? It's a little bit much. I think we swap that out, and I think maybe we stick with the tall fence. Maybe that's what we do. It is a public space, so it doesn't need to feel as enclosed as I was making it, I suppose. And so what we'll do is bring this to here. We'll bring this out to, I want to say right about here, I think is what we're looking for. So right to there, and we'll bring it down right to about there. And of course I can edit it to drag it out just ever so slightly so that we can get it to be exactly where I want it to be, which is right there. Yeah, that looks so much better. It does. It looks so much better. I don't love that fence. I still don't love that fence, but that does look so much better. I'm also thinking that maybe instead of a park, we could do a well in here. I think that could be kind of nice. We could do both. I don't know if we're necessarily going to have room to do both, but we could do both. I also like the idea of the blue one, just to change things up a little bit with the bucket on this side so that we have that little bit of extra detail. So we'll put this guy here. And I think one or two of the slightly older looking, the slightly more normal looking wooden benches could be kind of nice in here as well. I do like the sort of warmer tones of the wood against the blue wall. I think that's really cool. And for the rest of this, I'm sort of thinking that we want to do hedges. I think that's the way to go to enclose this thing a little bit. So we'll bring some hedges around to, I want to say there, actually, is probably fine. And on this side, we'll do something similar. We'll bring these kind of down and around to, I want to say about there should be okay. And I do really like that. All I need to do is connect this to the house so it looks a little bit better. And maybe bring this down just a little bit as well, so it looks that little bit better. There we go. That is perfect. Well, as perfect as it's going to be. Oh, there we go. I think this looks kind of fantastic. I will admit, I'm also getting a little bit sick of doing this with the cypress trees constantly, but it kind of looks the part for that little corner. I do really enjoy that. I'm also thinking that maybe we should get some people to work in at least this warehouse. In fact, I think we'll get 3 people to work in there because we do have some issues with how this is going. Demand right now is 840, which is, I mean, we're only covering 375. So maybe having the bigger warehouse would have made more sense. Arguably, wait, why do we have so many people in there? Hold on a second. No wonder we're having so much trouble. Hold on. Let's figure this out. There we go. So that should resolve that resolves the warehouse issues, which is good. It doesn't really deal with the work problems or the worker shortage, which isn't good, but I'm going to be honest with you, we're probably not going to deal with that right now because I need to figure out this corner is what I need to do. So let's very quickly figure out what's going to go in this corner. I'm really not, I'm not too sure. I think it's just going to be decorative, to be completely honest. I think we just do a little wooden fence down here. I'm also realizing that what I can do is just this, and then I can go in and refine the exact placement of my fences, which I really appreciate as an option in this game. That's it's very, very cool being able to sort of, you know, deal with it after the fact. It's I've said it before. It's like Move It. It's like the first time I ever used Move It in Cities Skylines. It's a very similar vibe. It's a level of power that I'm not entirely sure I should have, because I'm not entirely sure that I'm using it for good all the time, but I'm glad I have it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm glad I have it. I'm really, really, really appreciative of it. And I think that actually looks kind of cool. I'm not too sure, you know, how would you get in there? What is the point of this space? I don't know if any of that matters. It's just a nice little enclosed area is what it's going to be. I'm also debating whether or not I put hedges around it, because that would also be a bit of an option. Does that look silly? It sort of does, right? It looks a little bit silly, but I'm kind of wondering if I was to put the hedge like this, and we have the fence in the middle of it. I mean, the Z fighting kind of sucks, where the textures are clipping over each other. I don't love that. But if I can kind of deal with it, it looks like a hedge that's sort of grown around a fence, which is the thing that happens. You will see, like, all the time, you'll see, you know, hedges that have sort of grown up around fences. It happens. So I don't know if I dislike this. I don't know if we need to do this necessarily, but I don't know that I dislike it either. And you know, honestly, as a little bit of detail, I actually do kind of like it. I think it's okay. This space here then can just have an abundance of small trees to sort of fill it out a little bit, I think. Just a little something like that. We will get, of course, one cypress tree in there. It did come up randomly, to be fair. I didn't put it there, you know, I mean, I did put it there, but the game was like, hey, here's a cypress tree. And I mean, who am I to say no to another cypress tree? And wouldn't you know, we have 3 families that want to live here. Now, these guys want farm decorations nearby, which is not going to be any of those houses right there. So you can live here, you can live here. And then for the farm decorations, that slightly complicates things. Although farm decorations are considered these crates and things like that. So maybe we should upgrade one of these guys. I really don't want to, though. I really don't want to. I'm not really thinking I'm willing to do that. Can I put a crate on your balcony? I can. So if I upgraded one of these guys again, we could move them in there. And I think, honestly, we're going to have to. So congratulations. You're getting some crates on your balcony. You're getting a barrel on your balcony as well. There you go. Enjoy. And then I guess we upgrade you, and you are actually kind of happy right there, which is good. And that gives us 6 townsfolk available for work, which is great news. We'll get this warehouse sorted out. We can go ahead and make sure that all of these market stalls have someone working at them, which they don't all have right now. So there we go. That's all of those up and running. The shoemaker needs so many people right now. So we're going to put 1 more in there, 1 more into the optician, 1 more into the butcher. The warehouses are both full, so we're going to start running into problems there, which is going to really suck at some stage, but for now, this is okay. We're making progress. We are going to need an actual big warehouse at some point, but I kind of love how this space has turned out. I'm not going to lie. I'm a really big fan of that. I think it's kind of cool. And you know, I actually love this little archway as well. I do. I was a little apprehensive about putting this street light here, but I think it kind of works. You know, I think just it surrounded by the flowers is such a nice touch. I should also mention, you probably, I don't think you will have seen me do this in the video. There's been a couple of little things during some of the cuts in this video so far. I've been coming back here and just adding little bits to it. So that's why like this exists now, why this street light exists. I love how this is coming together. I really, really do love how this is coming together. And I think just as one last little thing to do, because this park is going to end up being a sort of an ongoing project. It's not going to be something that I don't think it's going to be the focus of another episode. I think it's going to be something that we'll kind of come back to here and there. I might even do a little bit of work on it between this episode and the next one just to get it along a little bit further, because I think it's just going to be a lot of this, right? It's going to be a whole lot of just placing bushes and kind of figuring out where flowers should go and figuring out where rose bushes should go and all that good stuff. It's going to look great. I'm really excited to see this thing come together. I'm very aware of the work that's going to go in to making it come together. And I'm very aware that it's just going to be a lot of tedious placement of little individual bushes. This really does take me back to, I've said it before. And by the way, I think I mentioned comments a couple of times already today. I did see a couple of comments that mentioned that they do remember the days of individually placing so many trees and bushes and things like that in city skylines. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that has both been there and done that many times over. Actually, you know what? I said we were just going to do one more thing, but there is something I think I need to do. I need to just get the population to jump a little bit. So we're going to open this station is what we're going to do. And I'm going to build a couple of houses because I feel like I've done nothing today. This episode might even be longer than the last one, which I'm pretty sure I said in the comments of that episode. I can't remember who it was to, and I do apologize, but I vividly remember replying to a comment because we talked about how long the videos had become in that last episode. And there was someone that mentioned that about an hour 45 is probably the upper limit to what people will watch. It was something along those lines. And I agree with that. I know there will be people that would watch more than that, but just in my experience, about an hour 45 is probably about as far as you want to go with an old YouTube video, at least the type of videos that I make. So this one risks being slightly longer than that. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to get a couple of houses right here. And the reason I want to put these houses here is because this one is going to get an upgrade. So it kind of, fits with the corner vibe that we have going on here. And what I'm also going to do is build a big warehouse. Now, I know we just got rid of one of these, but I'm going to build a big warehouse and I'm going to build it right back here. Now, obviously, this is going to be slightly blocking the view from the backs of these houses, which I don't necessarily love doing. I would really like to get my hands on the other style of houses from Bellevue, because I don't think have back windows at their lowest level, so this would actually kind of work nicely. But, well, do I want to build this here, or do I want to build it a little further away and give it a yard? Do I decorate around this thing, or do I build houses out of necessity is the question that I'm asking. And I feel like I'm going to do another little alleyway thing here. So let's have some fun with this and figure out what we can do. I need to find about that spot. I think there is what I'm going to go for this big warehouse. And then this space through here, we're actually going to put a little path so that we can have people walking through there. We're going to have shops down here still. That is very much going to be a thing. I'm slightly concerned about this space because I'm not 100% sure that we have room to build anything in there. At least not another house, which is fine. Ooh, can I get a house in? I actually can get a house in here. Do I want to put a house in here? I sort of do. I think I kind of do, actually. Just again to kind of fill up the space a little bit. Now, this is going to be a little bit closer to the house next to it than the others, but I think that'll be okay. I'm also slightly concerned about the fact that this, it does connect to the path, which is great news. So we're going to put it, I guess, right about there is what we're going to do. And then the access to this warehouse is going to have to be through this alleyway. Oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know that I like that. I don't know that I love that, but this is sort of my thought process is we have a warehouse kind of tucked in behind a bunch of buildings. It might need to move, or it could be a smaller warehouse again, but I feel like the smaller warehouse, I don't know about that one. I don't know that I want the smaller warehouse again. And you know, I was kind of hoping I could bring a little road around here. So this house might actually need to go away so that we can kind of connect this road around, which is, I think, relatively important to do. I think it's probably going to be a good thing to have this road connection here, because we can go up this hill. That's a thing we can do. We can build up here, and having this road connection is going to make it a little bit easier to do that. So we'll do something like this. We can have, I guess, just a road going straight through this this space a little bit. So we'll go, I want to say here, and bring this straight down. I don't know. It does connect to the warehouse, which is good news. We can bring it straight into this road. And then, of course, we're going to need to sort of round out those corners a little bit. So let's just make this look a little bit less sort of rough than it does. I think right about there seems pretty good as far as I'm concerned. And over on this side, we kind of need to just do something a little bit like that, I think. And that seems okay. It does give us the warehouse connection, which is good. I really do like the idea of having that little sort of alleyway through here, but the more I look at this, the more I'm thinking that it's just sort of a waste of space right now. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this warehouse over here, and well, I'm going to have to move some trees as well. Basically, the warehouse is going to live right up against the train tracks, and this is probably the best place that I could build this thing. It's going to be hopefully close enough to everything that it works, but it's not going to be messing with my houses, and that's kind of important to me. I think this is the best option. And you know what? I think this actually looks okay. I think this fills in this space really, really well. Obviously, there's a ton of crates around here just to kind of make it look busy, but I like this. I actually think that is definitely the best possible place that we could have put this thing. And of course, we have more families coming in here, so let's get you guys moved in that way. And we don't have another house available for another family. So do I make this one taller? I feel like we need to. I feel like out of necessity we need to. So we'll just move you guys in there. And I guess a little bit of detailing for these guys is probably a fair thing to do. We'll make this one sort of blue. We'll make this one, I'm going to go for the red actually on this one. I need to move that onto the window though, and then get this just through here. Do I want to give them lights? I guess we can give them lights. I guess a few little lights here and there aren't going to hurt. We'll do over the doors just here. We'll do some lights over that window as well. Maybe some lights up above those windows too, just to brighten the place up a little bit. And I think that's probably fine. We do have 4 people available to work. So what I've decided to do is change things up ever so slightly. So instead of just putting 1 in each building, I'm gradually going around and filling out the workers for every building. So for example, we have 4 people available. Let's put 3 of them into the fish stall so that it no longer complains about anything. And we have 1 person wanted up here. We have 1 in here. We have 3 in there, which is kind of wild. Over this way, we need 1 though, so we'll put them in there. And then we have fewer buildings complaining. Not that the complaining really does much or changes much, but it helps. And that's all I need it to do. I just need it to help. I need it to start going away. And also, I should mention, I know that I haven't done anything with this yet. We'll get there. We'll absolutely get there. I've just gotten slightly distracted today from the thing that I said we were going to do right at the start of the video. Okay, so I think it's obvious that I might have done a little bit more work here than I said I was going to, but I do love how this space is looking. I love that we have just a couple more houses in here. It has certainly helped to bring the population up just a little bit. And I think given that we're looking at a little not still frame, but like a nice little shot of the houses probably tells you that we have reached the end of today's video. Although just in case you're curious, there's nothing behind those houses other than the blue one having like a little back garden thing going on. I did also put some hedges down the middle of our main road with a nice fancy fence in between them. I thought that looked really cool and didn't really obstruct the view into our beautiful new park. So we have room for more shops here, which is perfect. We have the decorations in the middle of the road, which is perfect. And speaking of the park, we of course have the tunnel that leads right into it. I love how this has turned out. I think it's perfect. This is exactly what I wanted from this tunnel. And then the park itself is just this mess of green and red with market stalls in between. I'm so pleased with how this has turned out. I didn't really get around to bumping the population quite as much as I wanted today, but we have some crazily decorated spaces, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So I am really pleased with that. And so with everything said and done, and with all of that out of the way, that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.